In this training video, we are going to discuss how to create an expense-only cost event using the new Upload utility. Now, you've already installed the Uploader, so go ahead and click on the Start button, All Programs, Meridian Systems, Cost Event Upload Utility, and then click on the tool. Now, I have previously logged in, so you can see that the login credentials have saved from last time. I also have the Remember Me and Save Password checked, so I don't need to log in again. If you do not know your ProLiance login, please contact Morgan. Click Next. Now the utility is finding all of the jobs that I have access to in ProLiance. And I'm going to use the search fields above the column headers to narrow down my search. Now I have the option below to create a new cost event or open the existing cost events that are in this project. I'm going to go ahead and click New Cost Event. Now I am asked what subtype cost event I'd like to create. Again, this is the expense example, so I'll leave it as expense and click Next. You'll see now that some of the gray fields have auto-populated, and these fields are read-only. So the red fields are required, and the white fields are optional. So I'm going to enter a title. Now I can go ahead and enter a description if I want to further explain why this cost event is relevant. And I can also select a reason code and an alternate reason code if I need to. If you look now in the line items, you'll notice that you have some of the same fields that are in the ProLiance cost event document. You have your expense fields, your revenue fields, the fields where you can assign what contract the cost event is associated with, and then your cost account allocations. I'll go back all the way to the left and begin to enter in my line items. I can simply tab through and enter the necessary information in fields that are not read-only. So I'll enter $300 for my first floor additional drywall needs. I can ignore all the revenue fields. And now I can select what contract I want this to belong to if the contract is already written. I can continue to move over to the right, and now I can select the cost account. You'll see that the description and the price have all carried over from what I originally entered. Now I'll click Save, and I'll be notified when my cost event has saved successfully. So now let's jump into ProLiance so you can see in real time that the information is being saved directly from the Uploader into ProLiance. So I'll navigate to the cost events and I'll search for my cost event, which is right here. You'll see that I have a total expense of $300 and that my cost event is currently in the draft state. Now, let's say I wanted to go back and add an additional line item. I can simply put my mouse in the item type field and click Enter. Now I'll simply tab through, and if I wanted to, I can do a quick copy paste of the information if most of it is fairly relevant to my next line item. Now I will change the code, I'll change floor, I'll change the value, but my target expense contract reference will remain the same, and my cost account will remain the same. So now that I'm done, I'll click Save, and again, be notified when it's saved successfully. Now I can go back to ProLiance and click Refresh, and see that my total expense value has gone up by $650, which I just added in line item number 2. Now you can continue to work within the cost event and add as many cost event line items as needed. Now, when we're talking about doing a copy paste, if you have 100 plus line items, there is a specific way to go about adding line items. What you don't want to do is copy and paste. What happens then is the items that you just pasted will not make their way into ProLiants. If you scroll over to the right, you'll see in my second line item, I have this blue marker in the bottom corner. This indicates that my cost event is saving only the line items that fall within this area. It is not including the bottom 2 that I just added. So I will need to drag that marker so that it is now inclusive of all 4 of these line items. Now I'll scroll over here, make a few changes so that I don't run into any errors, and click Save. Now my cost event should double based on the last save because of the change that I made by adding the additional line items. Now, a better way to go about adding line items is to simply highlight the line items you'd like, right-click, and select Insert. This way, because you're inserting the line items above what you originally have, that blue marker will always include everything that you just newly added. So it's definitely the preferred way to add cost event line items. I'll go ahead and click Save. And you'll see because I didn't enter anything in those first 4 that I just added, they simply just disappeared. Now, if I'm done and complete with this cost event, what I can do is I can activate it from the uploader. So I no longer need to go into ProLiants to activate it. I can simply do it in Excel. Now, the reason I would like to activate it is because I want to move it out of draft and into the active state so that these values will now hit my ACR. So by activating it, we'll go back into ProLiants, click Refresh, and we'll see that it has now transitioned to the active state. Now, if we go into the cost event, you'll see that the information that I added, such as the title and the reason code, have all auto-populated. And when you click on line items, we should see all 4 of the line items that I added. Now, when you click on settings, because this is an expense-only cost event, you will see that in this cost event, it will automatically create a drawdown. Now, if you want to attach any documents or hand off any of these line items, you'll do so in the ProLiants document and not in the new upload tool. If you would like to make changes to the cost event, you can do so either in ProLiants or you can open it up in the uploader and make adjustments there. In ProLiants, you'll simply click Edit, and you have the ability then to add or change any of the values. So for example, if I wanted to modify this value, I can go ahead and do that and click Save. Now, when I close ProLiants, I'm also going to want to close my cost event uploader. And I can simply just close out on Excel, and there's really no reason to save this Excel document. Now I can reopen the cost event through the upload utility. And instead of creating a new cost event, I'm going to simply open a cost event. So I'll click Show Cost Events. Here I can use the filter again to find and filter down the cost events that I'd like to open. And now if I click Load Cost Event, we should see the line item has been changed from $300 to $450. Now, as long as the line item has not been handed off or finalized, you have the ability to modify the line items while they're in the draft or active state. So you can continue to add line items or modify existing ones. I'll go ahead and enter this one quickly. And note that I can also just do a copy paste individually in these fields. When I'm done, I'll click Save. And now I've shown you that you can open existing cost events that were previously edited in Proliance and continue to make adjustments. Now I'm done with this cost event for right now, so I'll just close the upload utility.